when all of a sudden it started to move. And I freaked out and I didn't bring my phone. Somebody get me my phone. Somebody get me. Hey guys, welcome back. I have been gone for a while and I have like a quick update, but you know, I've just been going through some stuff and I didn't want to just post random stuff just to post. I really wanted to post something that was meaningful and actually helped someone in some way. So the last video I posted was a little bit over a month ago, and the one thing that I've been praying for the most is for God to give me something to share here on my channel. And I didn't feel like I was receiving anything. I kind of felt like I was going through something, and when it was time, I would have something to share, but I kind of felt the urge to share something today. So one of the reasons why I've been gone, which I'm sure like I don't really need an excuse or an explanation, but I've just been really, really working a lot and it's been physically draining me. So I think because of that, it's been hard for me to receive anything from God or connect with God. I kind of read the Bible when I'm like pretty tired late at night, or even the few times I woke up early, I just wasn't getting any like revelation. So I just decided to just keep focusing on that and keep working on it until I have something to share. About a week ago, I decided to do a 3-day fast. So no food for 3 days. I can't say I was 100% strict. Like I had a little bit of orange juice or I had like a coffee. I didn't really feel like I got like a breakthrough. So I proceeded after the 3-day fast. I then did 9 days of like keto fast. So no sugar, no processed snacks, no chips, I also avoided pasta, bread, sugar. Those are like the top 3. I mostly ate meat and vegetables, although I don't really eat vegetables because I've had a stomach condition for the longest time, and like meat is the only thing my body can actually process without me feeling sick. That's why I recently learned about the Daniel diet, and it's been a very big struggle for me to even consider doing something where I go back to that vegetarian vegan diet, which I've tried many times and it only made me sick. So I just don't know about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I actually don't like meat. For the longest time, I cut out meat. I didn't eat red meat for 12 years. I mostly lived on pasta, bread. I guess I liked salads. So basically everything that made me sick is what I was living on. So I never liked meat. So now I force myself to eat meat because that's how my body feels the best. I lose weight when I eat more protein. I have more energy when I eat more protein. So like the Daniel diet, it's like a part of me wants to do it, but the other part of me is like, I don't know how I'm going to feel on it if I try it. Like I'm scared to eat salads because when I do, I don't feel well afterwards. But anyways, so I did my 3-day fast. Then I did 9 days of just keto-friendly food, and that finished today. And then at the end of the day, I broke my fast. I finally had something sweet. I had a boba tea. I had an ice cream cone. What's funny, I also had like some regular food. But then after I had that ice cream cone, I just felt like, man, this is overly sweet. I don't know how I used to eat that. And that's one of the reasons why I like doing fasts or healthy diets, is because your taste palette really gets to kind of reset and you no longer crave that junk that you used to crave. You kind of crave more like natural food, like fruits and berries and stuff like that. After I broke my fast today, I think yesterday I heard about this other fast. It's called the Bride of the Year fast. And that fast is 25 days long, and you cannot eat from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., which I don't eat before 3 most of the time anyway. So that's why to me it doesn't feel like a real fast. Especially for people who say sleep in late and they work late or they have a night shift. That time frame, I feel like it doesn't apply to everybody, you know? Like a lot of people don't eat until 3 anyway. Is that considered a fast? I don't think it's considered a fast if you're already a late eater. You know what I'm saying? Or people who, if anything, it should be like from the time you wake up, you don't eat for 9 hours. That would make sense because then everyone can apply it to their own schedule. But anyways, I'm just gonna try it because I feel called to for whatever reason. And I noticed a weird, interesting pattern with the fast that I did. I did 3 days, no food. Then I did a little bit longer fast with a little bit more food. So 9 days with a healthy diet, and then 25 days. Now we're going to longer, but this time there's really no restrictions. 25 days, food-wise, you can eat whatever you want. You just have to stick to when you eat, which to me sounds like the easiest thing to do versus sticking to a very, very healthy diet. However, eating junk while you're supposed to be fasting, especially for spiritual reasons, probably is not a good idea anyway. So I don't know if I can last 25 days, but I'm not gonna be too strict with myself. I'm just gonna focus on, you know, just God, and that's it. If I do make it, I'll do an update to see if anything happened. But like, if I don't update you guys, probably didn't go well. But anyways, so normally on the weekends, I don't like to be home at all. I like to be out in nature because I work from home. So I'm home all day long during the week. And it's like, I hate it. I love being out. So Saturdays and Sundays, I usually like to be out of the house. But today was kind of drizzling and kind of gloomy and kind of cold. So my son and my nephew were like, we want to go home and, you know, play their video games. And this is why I like to also keep them out of the house on weekends. But I was like, you know what? It is kind of like not so nice out. And I don't really see myself wanting to be out in this kind of weather. Like if it was sunny, I'd be out. But I was like, all right, like, let's go home and maybe I'll just relax. Like, I don't really ever let myself relax. I don't just lay around, watch TV ever. You know, I work Monday through Friday. I homeschool, I clean, I cook, I run errands. And then weekends, I'm out of the house. I don't really give myself time to rest, which is not good. But we came home and I was just like scrolling on YouTube, scrolling on my movie apps, trying to find something to watch. And something in me was just like, you're not ready. Like, I didn't feel at peace to play something. I just kind of felt out of like, I kind of felt anxious. Like, I didn't know what to do with my time. And my nephew then says, oh, can you drop me off at home? So I said, oh, yeah, sure. And I was actually kind of excited because I wanted to leave the house for whatever reason. So I dropped him off. I came home. And on the way home, there was like this really beautiful sunset, which I wish I recorded, but I was driving, so I didn't want to do that. When I got home, again, I felt this weird, anxious feeling to like wanting to go outside. So I went to my son and I said, can you come outside with me? Like, I just want to be outside. I was really just like hungry, I think, for that time with God that I just don't have the time for during the week. And I was like hungry for it. I was like, the sun is setting. It's like the perfect time because as soon as it gets dark, that's usually when I go and watch something to relax if I'm not working. Or even if I am working, I still put something on while I work. But I just felt pulled like to go outside. So I begged my son and he was kind of like playing his video game. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, I guess I can go by myself. I just didn't really want to be by myself. Just because of like where we live, I guess. I don't have any like, there's no privacy. We live in an apartment, so there's neighbors everywhere. And I went on my patio and I just stood there and looked at the sunset and the trees. And I was trying to process like, where do I want to go right now? Where do I want to sit and spend time with God? I know I overthink things, like, but to me, like, environment really matters. Sometimes I want to be by the street and watch cars driving by. Sometimes I want to go on a walk, and other times I want to be on my patio. So it's like maybe I was tuning in to what God wanted or where he was calling me, perhaps. So I was standing there and I was like, kind of want to journal and sit and like maybe put on some worship. I was kind of trying to figure out what my vibe was going to be when literally within a few minutes, I'm looking towards the field that's right outside my patio. And I live right by a military base. So there's like a fence with barbed wire. And there's just like wildlife out there and, you know, coyotes and stuff like that, which I almost never see. But sometimes I hear them at night. And there's rabbits. And so I was just standing there like, you know, just looking out there thinking like, where do I want to be right now? Like the sunset's so beautiful because that's where the sun sets, right towards that field. And I noticed a giant gray rock looking thing. And I was like, that's weird. That's a big rock. I was like, kind of looks like an animal. Like it's shaped like an animal a little bit. When all of a sudden it started to move and I freaked out and I didn't bring my phone with me. I was like, oh, I'm going to leave my phone in my room. Cause like, you know, usually I walk around the house with my phone because something always happens that I need my phone. And then sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm going to leave my phone in my room because like, it's not good to be like addicted to having your phone on you. But every single time I leave my phone behind, something happens. So this thing starts moving and I realize that it is a deer and I start like freaking out and I'm like, somebody get me my phone. Somebody get me my phone. And I immediately start recording and I'm just like in shock. Like, is this really happening? I know to a lot of people who maybe live with deer on their property. I lived in this apartment for 6 years and I've never once seen a deer. 6 years. And sometime last year I heard the kids saw deer running, but I didn't see it. And I was kind of like, wow, I didn't know we had deer here. That's weird. Like in 6 years, I've never seen any deer. And so I've been wanting to see deer outside, but I never did. Funny enough, yesterday I found this video on YouTube about this lady who bought a 7-acre property by the lake in, I want to say Michigan. And it had like a beat up old mobile home, and she like spent 7 years renovating it, ended up moving there full time with her son. And I just like was like, I want that life. I want a life where I'm not working like a slave to keep up with rent that only goes up every year. And then it's just like, you can't go nowhere. You can't afford anything. Everything's too expensive. And, you know, you have to live with other people or with roommates. And I want that freedom of, I own my own land, I own my own home, and I don't have to like slave away. That also takes time away from your kids because I'm always working and I'm exhausted, I'm stressed, and it's just like, so tired of it. And I've been really, really wanting to that's what I've been wanting to do. And I mentioned that before on my channel. So this lady bought the 7 acres, she bought it for $24,000, and then she spent 7 years fixing it up. She put in $36,000 of renovations, which if you calculate in 7 years, that's about $5,000 a year. And most of us spend more than that on rent every year, way more than that. I think we pay like $26,000 a year in rent, money that you'll never see again. But imagine if you spent $26,000 a year on building your own property or renovating your own property. And then once you're done, you're done. Like you just get to live there and enjoy life. Anyway, that's just where my heart's been at. And so in this video, she was only going there in the summertime because the place was really gross and moldy and falling apart. It had no running water. It had no electricity. So they were just, her and her son would go there in the summertime and like fix things up, and then they would go back to wherever they were. And then they decided to move there full time. And she said that was the first time she got to see winter in that place, which apparently got to negative 30 degrees. I can't live like that. I would freeze to death. But she showed a video of like snow everywhere and deer walking around. And I just remember saying like, wow, like I want to see deer in front of my house. Like that is my dream. Just sit there by the fire and just watch nature, just watch animals and birds, and not feel this like, oh, I have to work, I gotta get all this work done, you know, just like to live and enjoy life. I feel like the way we were meant to. So when I felt that anxiousness today, like to go outside, and I was trying to figure out where to go, it's just so insane that I went outside and I looked in front of me and there was a deer. I just like couldn't believe it. To me, that was not a coincidence. To me, maybe that was God saying like, you will get what you want, but you got to be patient. I mean, it took me 6 years to see deer outside my property here, you know, outside of our apartment, 6 years. And I was just like so excited. I get so excited when I see like random animals or birds. I get so excited. So my son and I like immediately I grabbed my phone and we went outside. Like I went in my slippers, he went in his socks, and we climbed up this hill that's right outside our apartment where the fence is. And I was just standing there. The deer, by the time we even like made it halfway out, the deer ran off. But we went up the hill and I was just standing. I was like literally holding on to this fence, just like with my face against the fence, just like something was just pulling me to just look there. I don't usually go out there and look, but I just kept, I don't know, taking in the nature and the peace. And I was like, wow, like there's a lot of grass out there, so you don't really see what's out there. And we just kept standing there and looking and looking. And I was like, Damien, I see something moving. Like I saw something doing this, like behind a bunch of grass. And I was like, look, do you see it? And so he took him a while. He's like, yeah, I kind of see it. So I start recording it. And come to realize it was a deer again. I don't know if it was the same deer, but there was a deer. And we stood there. I was recording my video. I recorded it for like over 7 minutes. But during that 7-minute span, it just kept coming closer and closer. And then it came close enough to where you could see it. And it was just eating. And then I see something else moving behind it. And here comes another deer, and they're just standing. One of them just kept staring at me, and they both like saw me, but one of them was like staring at me, and the other one was just like eating. And I just could not believe this was happening. Not only did we see one and then it ran off, but these two just came back and came forward. And I was just like so excited to like watch them stand there and eat. And then they heard something and then they ran off. I don't know. I don't really know what the point of this video is. Like, part of it is like I wanted to update you guys on where I've been. I've been just really trying to get some kind of breakthrough with God. But then the other part was that when you feel that anxiousness, like this is something I kind of realized today, when I feel that anxiousness to like go outside, I now know that's God nudging me to go outside, because this happened a few weeks ago as well. It was raining, it was cold, and it was dark. I don't remember what time it was, maybe 8 or 9 p.m. And I felt this weird, like, go outside, go out. Like, I didn't want to be here for some reason. And it was cold and wet. And I hate, normally I hate cold and wet weather, but something about it just felt so refreshing that I was just like, I want to be in cold, wet weather or whatever. So I put on like my coat and my hat. I got really bundled up and I just walked around the block a couple of times, and I was walking through the parking lot. I didn't really know what to do. I was just kind of like wandering around our apartment complex. And I went and sat on, we live by a cul-de-sac, which is a dead-end street if you're not from like around here. Like, that's like a California term, I think. I never heard of it until I moved here. In New York, we call them dead-end streets. So I usually sit out there at the cul-de-sac, and I just like to sit and watch cars driving by. And because there's like more activity, you know, like sitting out staring at like trees is just kind of boring. We don't really see anything out on the wilderness side, so I like to be on the street side sometimes. So anyway, I sat out on the cul-de-sac, and then I saw some creepy guy walking around, like pulling people's doorknobs, like he was trying to see whose car is unlocked so he could steal something. I wasn't like too sure, but he was kind of weird. He was walking like in the street. So as he walked away, I decided to get up and follow him. So I followed him, but I couldn't see where he went. And I did not call the police or anything because the guy was already gone. But anyway, I walked away for a while, and then I came back to the cul-de-sac little spot that I sit in, and I heard worship music right behind me at the apartment that's right behind me. And it was a song that I listen to quite often on Pandora. And I was like, well, that's weird. I don't even know who lives there. Like, I've never spoken to that person. And I'm just like sitting there. I was feeling kind of sad. I'm not going to lie. I was like going through some emotional stuff, and I was just like really sad. And so I'm sitting there, and when I heard the worship music, I was like, okay. I was like, that's got to be God. Like, I just took that as like, this is where you need to sit down and sit. A few minutes later, I heard somebody say behind me, are you okay? And it was this elderly lady whose music was playing. And I've never spoken to her before, and I thought that was very strange. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just, just enjoying the weather. I kind of lied. I didn't want to be like, yes, I'm so sad. But we started talking. She just started telling me everything about her life. And she broke down crying about stuff that she's been through. And it really just kind of broke my heart, and immediately just made my problems kind of vanish. I was like, I just felt really good connecting with someone. I think I also felt lonely in that moment as well. Like, I don't really have too many people to like talk to. When you're sad and depressed, like one of the best things to do is to like connect with someone and to help them. Like, giving and volunteering, that stuff is like usually really helps you get rid of any kind of depression or whatever. And just talking to her made me feel so much better. There were some weird connections that I had no idea that happened there. And she told me she was looking for a new church, and she told me where she goes, and I told her where I go. And she was like, oh, I've been to your church a few years back, but she said she was looking for Bible studies. And I was like, oh, our church does a lot of Bible studies. Like, every day of the week, they have something going on at church. I don't personally go there during the week, but maybe she'll go there one day. Maybe that was the whole reason that we connected. I don't really know, but it was really nice talking to her. And she actually did tell me, she's like, I'm really glad I met you. It was really nice to meet you. And she's like, I don't have a lot of friends or people to talk to. Funny enough, like I kind of feel the same sometimes. You know, everyone that I know, they have their busy lives and their families and their jobs. So I personally, I'm one of those people that like, I don't call people to complain or anything. I just kind of, I'm an introvert, so I just kind of deal with it on my own. And I talk to my son a lot, but like he's 11, so sometimes you need an adult to talk to. And I just don't like to bother people with my problems. It was just like really nice to connect with her. And she was like, I'm really glad I met you. And she's like, you know, come by sometime. And so now every time I see her, we say hi. And, you know, she showed me her patio, and she had all these like beautiful like lights like that on her patio. She was like decorating her patio. And I was like, I really love your patio. Like, it's so cute. At the time, my patio was very like junked up and dirty, like from all the, you know, outside dust and stuff like that. So I hardly ever sat out there anymore because you have to clean it once in a while. And it felt very crowded, and I have so many plants and out there and stuff. And the next day after I spoke with her, I just felt this like inspiration to clean out my patio. So I cleaned it out. I threw tons of stuff out, and I added lights, the same kind of lights, and I added them. I put them on a timer, so every day during like, you know, as soon as the sun goes down, my twinkle lights turn on. And I've been sitting out there and like reading the Bible, and it was just interesting that she kind of inspired me to do that. And I'm now enjoying like my patio more, especially now that spring is coming. I'm definitely going to spend way more time out there. That's just kind of like a random update, and I don't really know what else to share other than I'm going to be starting my fast on Wednesday. So I'm going to eat after 3, which, like I said, not very hard for me. So we'll see if anything happens. I'm going to also try to stick to healthy food most of the time. We'll see. I'll do an update on that. Yeah, God speaks in very interesting ways. I'm going to try to tune in more to that feeling, that go outside kind of feeling. Like, let me know if you guys ever experienced that, or maybe you have and you didn't know that that's from God. Like he's making you anxious for a reason. Like, you ever get anxious, like you don't want to go home, or you really do want to go home, like this weird, like uneasy feeling? That could be from God. And yeah, I just loved it. So I'm gonna go journal and edit this video so I could post it. And of course, if I didn't already, I'm going to show you the deer video, which is so exciting. And then a rabbit showed up right after that. But we see rabbits all the time, so it's not really new for me. But yeah, so I don't have anything else to share. Thank you for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you'd want me to talk about or to share with you. But in the meantime, if I don't have anything to share, I'm not going to come on here because I don't want to waste people's time. I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care about monetization. I'm only going to share if I feel like there's something important for me to share. So, yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you. Hopefully I'll see you soon, but until next time, bye.